Welcome everyone to Professional Engineers Ontario's 2020 and 2021 Order of Honor Awards. Here's your evening Master of Ceremonies, PEO Past President Marissa Sterling.
Good evening, bonsoir. Au nom du Conseil des ingénieurs professionnels de l'Ontario et de la Commission de remise de prix aux ingénieurs professionnels, je vous souhaite la bienvenue à la cérémonie de remise des prix 2020 et 2021 de l'Ordre d'honneur des ingénieurs professionnels de l'Ontario. On behalf of PEO Council and the Professional Engineers Awards Committee, I welcome you all to the 2020 and 2021 Professional Engineers Ontario Order of Honor Awards ceremony. My name is Marissa Sterling, the President of Professional Engineers Ontario during the 2020 to 2021 term. Tonight we celebrate 26 exceptional individuals who have tremendous accomplishments in the engineering profession. 19 are professional engineers who will be invested into the Order of Honor for their dedication and service to the engineering regulator. 2 are engineering interns with outstanding leadership skills who will be receiving the Sterling Award. 4 are engineers who will be receiving the Smith and Wolf Awards for technical exam and thesis scores respectively that were marked the highest during their license application process. And 1 is an individual from the public who will be receiving the President's Award for making substantial contributions to supporting and advancing engineering in Ontario. PEO exists to protect the public interest, and for me personally, my effectiveness as an engineer is dependent on how well I understand and recognize the needs and well-being of all members of the public. Therefore, tonight, I wish to acknowledge that this awards ceremony is being hosted on Aboriginal land that has been inhabited by Indigenous peoples from the beginning. As a settler, I am grateful for the opportunity to gather here, and I thank all the generations of people who have taken care of this land and shaped and strengthened our province as well. Given the recent discovery of 215 unmarked children's graves at the former Kamloops Indian Residential School in British Columbia, I'm reminded of the horrible truths I still need to learn and acknowledge before I can reconcile with First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples of Canada, and before I can effectively contribute to engineering solutions that protect public well-being. I'm proud of PEO's leadership under my presidency to form the Anti-Racism and Anti-Discrimination Working Group, and their pending report, I believe, will be a positive step forward. As a regulator, PEO bestows awards on both engineers and the public as one way to protect the public interest. Our awards educate and encourage engineers and EITs to participate in our self-regulated governance model by highlighting examples of excellence and skill. They showcase the rigor of our license application process, and they recognize the ways that the public can positively participate in the engineering profession. Awards recognition is one way that PEO tells its story to the public of how it is self-regulating in the public interest. We hope that the examples showcased tonight educate everyone on the work of PEO and encourage your future participation in engineering regulation. Tonight's awardees are recipients of 2 award years. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, we postponed last year's awards ceremony. Therefore, I am pleased to invite Council's 2019 to 2020 President, Nancy Hill, to join me in making tonight's presentations. We will now pay tribute to the awardees, who over many years have each had outstanding accomplishments and contributions to the engineering profession and the regulator. Our first presentations are for the V.G. Smith Award. The award is presented annually to a professional engineer who obtained their license by writing technical exams to meet the academic requirements and who gained the highest mark of those candidates who completed examinations that same year.
Before announcing the V.G. Smith 2019 recipient, as the 2019-2020 president, I would like to pause and thank Marisa for taking on the role of MC for this joint ceremony. Now back to the awards. The 2019 recipient of the V.G. Smith Award is Yuanpeng Lee, PEng, who is receiving the award for successfully completing a program of 7 technical exams with an average mark of 95% for his top 3 exams. Yuanpeng Lee is a civil engineering graduate from Tianjin University in China. Yuanpeng, on behalf of PEO, congratulations on your achievement and welcome to the profession.
Hello everyone, my name is Yuanpeng Lee. I'm very honored to be here to receive the V.G. Smith Award. I want to thank PEO giving me and everyone like me who are immigration from different countries with different education background a chance and setting up this special approach to prove ourselves and get our PEng license. I also want to thank my family members' support and courage during my preparation of these exams. Finally, I wish all applications who are preparing the technical exams to be successful and have a good luck. Thank you.
The 2020 recipient of the V.G. Smith Award is Sandeep Kumar, PEng. Sandeep is receiving the award for successfully completing 10 technical examinations with an average mark of 94% for his top 3 exams. Sandeep holds an electrical engineering degree from Punjab University in India and now works as a professional engineer. Sandeep, on behalf of PEO, congratulations on your achievement and welcome to the profession.
Oh, hi, my name is Sandeep Kumar. I'm Manager of Engineering Data Management at Worley Canada, North America East. I completed my Master of Technology in Instrumentation Engineering from Regional Engineering College, Kurukshetra, India, 1994. After arriving in Canada, I applied for my professional engineering license and I was assigned some technical exams. Frankly speaking, at first it was not easy to study for these exams, but as I started preparing for the exams, it became quite interesting to study the engineering subjects after a gap of 20 plus years. I'm very thankful to my family for all their support, especially my wife Smithy, as she encouraged me to take this challenge and finish the technical exams. At work, I'm proud to work with a great team. To say the least, I'm very thankful to my supervisors for their mentorship over the past 15 years. Special thanks to Mccann and Kevin Smith for providing me the opportunity to work on very exciting and challenging projects and expand upon my engineering skills. When I learned that I was awarded the V.G. Smith Award by the PEO, I was very excited and surprised at the same time. I shared this wonderful news with my family, and my 15-year-old son was equally excited about it. I'm thankful to the Council of Professional Engineers Ontario and the PEO President for selecting me for this award. I also extend my thanks to all the PEO staff members for their help, as they were always very responsive to my queries and questions throughout the licensing process. Thank you.
Our next award presentations are for the S.E. Wolf Thesis Award. This award is given annually to a professional engineer who obtained their license following the completion of PEO's technical examination program, in which the candidate submitted an engineering report judged to be the best of all the reports received that year, and whose thesis was awarded the highest mark of all those presented that same year.
The 2019 recipient of the S.E. Wolf Thesis is Bhavin Shukla. Bhavin receives the award for his engineering report smart grid to cognitive grid. He received a mark of 98%. Bhavin's path to the PEng included completing a BTech, then an MEng in electrical and computer engineering, before completing PEO's technical examination program to meet the academic requirements for licensure. Bhavin, on behalf of PEO, congratulations on your achievement and welcome to the profession.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and members of council. I can't tell you how thrilled and grateful I am to have this privilege of speaking with you today. First of all, I would like to express my sincerest gratitude towards Professional Engineers of Ontario and Award Committee. Without their hard work, I wouldn't be here. And thank you very much for organizing this virtual ceremony during this ongoing pandemic situation. It is my greatest honor to receive this SE Wolf Award. Technology is my passion ever since I was a child. I have always been fascinated about automation technology and how it has made this world more efficient and safer place. Hence, my thesis is so essential towards future of technology. Although writing it was not easy task, but who doesn't like challenges? Furthermore, I would like to thank my family for their encouragement and support they provided me during this journey. This award has truly motivated me to participate more into PEO's activity, and I'm looking forward to the future of engineering. I'm grateful to be part of this organization today and for the days to come. Thank you very much.
The 2020 recipient of the S.E. Wolf Thesis Award is Frederick Niemer, PEng. Fred receives the award for his engineering technical report, Design of the Damp Axle Scrape Tool Hydraulic. He received a mark of 91%. Fred received a Bachelor of Technology degree from McMaster University and now works as a professional engineer. Fred, on behalf of PEO, congratulations on your achievement and welcome to the profession.
I'm humbled, honored, and thankful to be chosen as the 2020 recipient of the S.E. Wolf Award. I know the PEO committee making the selection had considered many deserving technical reports, since every individual who, having passed their examinations, technical report, and has become a professional engineer in 2020 are all well deserving. Therefore, to my fellow engineers who have also traveled the same road, congratulations on everything you've accomplished. Engineers follow many different roads for licensure, but we all have one thing in common. We have never done it alone, nor could we have ever done it alone. We have our friends, family, clergy, teachers, professors, and when following the roads we took, our employers. With me, it was Mr. Alan Van Gyn at Can Furnaces. Then 10 years later, after graduation, Mr. Eric Wojcinski at ACL, now Can Do Energy. Upon completion of my PEO exams, I had to write my technical report, and the topic was irradiated pressure tube sampling. This topic was perfect. It addressed all critical parameters of a technical report. The topic was unique, applied CSA standards and codes, machining, and other disciplines within the mechanical engineering, providing my PEO examiner a broad overview of my knowledge in mechanical engineering and analysis. This report was not an individual effort. Like any engineering document, my report was peer-reviewed prior to submission. Peer reviewers were Dr. Stephen Veldhuis, a professor of McMaster University and the director of the McMaster McManufacturing Research Institute. Dr. Veldhuis was my teacher, mentor, and is a good friend. The other reviewer was Dr. Noah Abdurrahmani, a colleague and instructor. Without them, my technical report could not have achieved the product quality needed for consideration of being nominated, let alone being awarded with this prestigious award. Therefore, again, I'm humbled and thankful to be the recipient of the 2020 S.E. Wolf Award. But this award would never have been made possible without the support from my wife, Michelle, daughter, Nicole, my PEO examiner, PEO selection committee, and the individuals mentioned previously. Thank you.
This evening, we honor the outstanding leadership ability of two individuals through a special award. The G. Gordon M. Sterling Engineering Intern Award recognizes the leadership potential of engineering interns registered in good standing with PEO's Engineering Intern, also known as EIT program. Those selected for the award have demonstrated leadership in their community, are committed to assuming leadership responsibilities within the engineering profession, and have identified a professional development opportunity that can be funded by the award's $3,500 value and that is suitable to their needs and aspirations. The recipient also agrees to share back the leadership knowledge they gain from this award with their PEO peers and within the engineering profession. On a personal note, the Sterling Award has deep significance to me as it is named after my father and mentor, PEO's 82nd president. The award was created after my father's unexpected passing in 2007. It draws inspiration from his passions to support the next generation and to develop future PEO leaders to govern the profession. The first Sterling Award was given out in 2010.
The 2020 recipient of the G. Gordon M. Sterling Engineering Intern Award is Nazanin Oprani Moghadam, now a professional engineer. Nazani is an inspiring leader in her professional life as a mining engineer at Golder Associates, a global engineering consultancy. Prior to joining Golder, she led the mining technical team as a supervisor at Newmont Gold Corp in Timmins. Since 2015, first as an EIT, Nazani showed strong leadership through developing mine plans and schedules, leading technical meetings with engineers and managers, and directing the operational drill activities to achieve product targets. Recently, she helped develop and manage improvement projects, leading to enhanced rock fragmentation, increased production, reduced costs for drilling, and increased dump capacity. Nazanin was elected Secretary and Education Coordinator for PEO's Porcupine-Kapuskasing chapter in 2017, organizing events, participating in government liaison program, and maintaining the chapter's social media channels. In 2019, she promoted opportunities for young women in STEM careers in support of PEO's 30 by 30 challenge by co-organizing in her local Timmins community, the Girls Expo in Science. Nazani, congratulations on your award and welcome to the profession.
Distinguished guests, dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor and privilege to accept the Sterling Engineering Intern Award of 2020. I sincerely thank the sponsors for initiating the award, the members of the selection committee for selecting me, and the PEO for hosting this and making this virtual meeting possible. It is certainly a very proud and humbling moment for me. And I would like to dedicate this award to my mentor and husband, Nick Nasarifard, who've always been there for me, supported me, and motivated me to push my limits to become the best version of myself and never give up to achieve my goals. In addition, I would like to thank my supportive and kind parents and parents-in-law who've always been there for me and send me positive energy to achieve my goals. I would like to extend my sincere appreciation and gratitude to those who've helped me achieve this award, including my referees, Serge Robert, Luke Roberge, Vic Sonder. And I had the pleasure of working and learning from the best engineers, professional engineers, and geologists. Daniel Kahn, Ali Chamanara, Danny Tolmer, Jerry DeWolf, Curtis Clark, Melissa Burke, Mike Barker, and many more, which the time does not allow me to list them all. You know who you are, and thank you. And I would like to thank again PEO for organizing this event. Thank you all for joining me tonight. Have a great evening.
The 2021 recipient of the G. Gordon M. Sterling Engineering Intern Award is Sharon Chen, EIT. a University of Waterloo Environmental Engineering graduate, and a member of PEO's York chapter, Sharon is a designer in the conveyance group at WSP, a Canadian multinational professional services firm. In her work, she models wastewater infrastructure to assess capacity and helps safeguard public safety by mitigating urban flooding. In 2020, she completed WSP's highly competitive infrastructure rotational program to build her cross-disciplinary experience. She actively looks for leadership opportunities, including having led project assignments and championing health and safety at her workplace, implemented sustainability initiatives on her university campus, and revitalized the online presence of her PEO chapter. She was elected to the PEO York Chapter Board in 2019, and since then has helped establish a digital strategy to replace in-person events during COVID-19. And she also co-organized the 2019 Engineering Symposium, featuring over 20 panelists and 100 attendees. Currently, she is the Awards and Recognition Director for the PEO York Chapter. Sharon plans on using the award funding to take the Preparing for Leadership course and Negotiation Skills workshop offered by the Canadian Management Centre. Sharon hopes in the future to volunteer on a PEO committee and also run for PEO Council. Sharon, congratulations on your award.
I am deeply honored to receive the 2021 G. Gordon M. Sterling Engineering Intern Award. I am so grateful to be recognized for my leadership achievements and would like to thank Professional Engineers Ontario for this wonderful recognition and opportunity to grow. I would like to share this achievement with the many individuals that had supported me on my path. I learned how to best serve the community from my mentors at PEO York Chapter and how to be a good leader and engineer from my manager and mentors at WSP. It is thanks to their support and guidance that I am able to be the person that I am today. Lastly, I would like to thank my family, including my mom and my sister, for their continual love and support. Applying for the award allowed me to reflect on my achievements and think about my direction moving forward. With the award funding, I'm very excited to continue my learning journey and share what I have learned with my peers. I will continue to work hard, give back to the community, and further elevate the profile of the profession with my future activities. Thank you.
Our next award presentation is the Peo Presence Award, which recognizes public individuals who have shown continuous support of and made significant contributions to advancing the engineering profession in Ontario. Created in 2007, the recipients have demonstrated extraordinary support or promoted public awareness of engineering.
The recipient of the 2020 President's Award is Jump Math founder, Dr. John Mighton. John is a playwright and author turned mathematician who founded the nonprofit Jump Math to help foster numeracy and math skills in children. He developed Jump Math in 2001 to address both the tragedy of low expectations for students and math anxiety in teachers. His success in helping students learn math fueled his belief that everyone has great untapped potential. What makes Jump Math unique is the premise that anyone can learn math and anyone can teach it. His national bestseller, The Myth of Ability, Nurturing Mathematical Talent in Every Child, describes his approach and successes with the program. John was named a Schwab Foundation Social Entrepreneur of the Year, an Ernst & Young Social Entrepreneur of the Year for Canada, an Ashoka Fellow, an Officer of the Order of Canada, and has received 6 honorary doctorates. John, congratulations on your award.
I'm very honored to be accepting the President's Medal. I think it's fitting that my work with Jump Math is being recognized by an organization founded by engineers. Like mathematicians, engineers understand and are excited by the incredible intricacy and beauty of the world, in the laws of nature and structures that you can only really see through science and mathematics. And engineers also love using their expertise to solve problems and meet challenges. And in my 30 years of work with children, I've seen that children really see the world like engineers. You know, they'll work for hours happily, seeing patterns, making connections, overcoming challenges, solving problems, if they're allowed to do so with success. And if they're being taught in a way that's in keeping with the science of learning so that they can really realize their full potential. And this award will be very helpful to Jump Math to help us, you know, spread the word that every child should have a right to realize their full intellectual potential and to engage in the world like engineers with all of their passion and all of their intelligence. So thank you very much for this honor.
Congratulations, John. Thank you for advancing math literacy, a fundamental engineering skill. It is now my pleasure to introduce Ken McMartin, Chair of the Professional Engineers Awards Committee and a companion to the Order of Honor, to MC the 2020 and 2021 Order of Honor induction ceremony. Ken?
Thank you, Marissa. Tonight we celebrate those who, through their volunteer service to Professional Engineers Ontario, have helped shape the association and the engineering profession. PEO's more than 700 volunteers share a desire to make a difference in their professional and local communities by contributing time, energy, and talents to strengthen the profession. PEO relies on volunteer leaders, presidents, counselors, committee and task force chairs, and members to provide direction and leadership for the regulator and the profession. And at the chapter level, volunteers provide a local touch point for PEO to both members and the public at large. As we pay tribute to our 19 honorees, we recognize those who selflessly work have helped to strengthen our self-regulating profession. Through their diligent efforts, tonight's inductees have made significant impact on engineering in their own communities, throughout the province, and across the country. It is this professional attitude and service to the profession that distinguishes each of those we invest into the Professional Engineers Ontario Order of Honor. Assisting in the investiture this evening is Nancy Hill, a companion of the Order and a PEO past president, who will invest each recipient. Now let's begin. The member designation honors those who have served the engineering profession by contributing substantially to the operation through volunteer service to PEO. Members of the Order of Honor receive a lapel pin featuring a gold and silver symbol of the Order mounted above a silver bar. They also receive a medallion on a silver ribbon. Our first 11 inductees tonight will be invested as members of the Order. We will begin with the 2020 member inductees. Our first recipient tonight is Karen Chan.
As an aspiring Mars colonist, a teenage Karen Chan met Canadian astronaut Julie Payette at the Canada 125 Young Space Ambassadors program. She was told she would need a science degree if she wanted to become an astronaut, and Karen duly entered engineering school to help realize her dreams of space. While she still hasn't visited the stars, her volunteer work has helped others realize their dreams of becoming engineers. Her volunteer efforts with PEO, OSPE, the Foundation for Education, and several engineering schools has helped support new graduates as they transition from academic training to licensed professionals and influenced others to pursue licensure. Karen says her most rewarding volunteer experiences involve speaking about engineering to kids and inspiring girls to pursue engineering studies. An active PEO volunteer since 2010, Karen Chan has an outstanding record of volunteer service in the engineering community. Over the last decade, she has held key leadership roles with the Lake Ontario chapter, including chair, vice chair, and secretary. And she continues to support chapter activities such as mentoring and social media communications. At the provincial level, Karen sat on the PEO OSPI Joint Relations Committee and served as vice chair of PEO's Public Information Campaign Task Force, where she helped formulate a strong value proposition for professional engineering in Ontario. Her knowledge of communications, digital advertising, and media experience was also very helpful as the task force developed a strategy and recommendations for PEO Council. Karen urges more PEO license holders to get involved in volunteering. Do it. Your voice is needed, she says. I think it is important for engineers to volunteer with PEO so that they understand how the profession is regulated, how we work with government to safeguard the public, and our duty to practice engineering in an ethical and responsible manner. To recognize her tireless commitment to the profession, PEO is pleased to invest Karen Chan as a member of the Professional Engineers Ontario Order of Honour.
Karen Chan, I hereby invest you as a member in the Professional Engineers Ontario Order of Honour. Congratulations.
Thank you for admitting me into the Order of Honour. My PEO story started when my friend Ray Choklal asked me to join the board for the Lake Ontario chapter. He told me to show up, so I did. That kicked off an incredible journey with PEO and other organizations like OSPI and SWE. I've been able to give back by helping kids discover STEM, by encouraging women to pursue engineering, and by mentoring graduates towards licensure. I'd like to thank my nominator, Valerie Davidson. You took me under your wing when I first joined the OSPI board, and we've worked together on many things since. You're my friend, my role model, and I aspire to be like you. Thank you to the other nominators and supporters, Sunita Alves, Lisa McCumber, Rejan Amy, Nigel Fung, and Sandro Peruzza. It's been a privilege to serve with you over the years, from PEO Lake Ontario, the Chapter Leaders Conference, the PIC Task Force, the OSPI Board, WEAC, and EDI. We've been working together to highlight the importance of engineers to society and our contribution to the economy. And I'm especially proud to have been a part of the creation of P-Eng Day, which is recognized on March 1st every year. Thank you to my husband, Sue Pang, and to my children, Gabriel and Lily, for your patience, love, and support over the last 10 years. I really love that bridge building and athletics have become family traditions. And finally, thank you to PEO. I feel like I could be doing more. There's still a long way to go when it comes to the importance of engineering for 30 by 30 and having more inclusion and diversity in the profession. So I am incredibly touched that my colleagues and peers, people that I respect and look up to, feel that I am making a difference. Thank you for including me as a member of the Order.
Our next member inductee is Brett Schmiel.
For someone who started building electronics circuits from scratch in grade 4, the decision to study engineering came easily for a young Brett Schmiel, who went on to study engineering physics at Queen's University and build a career as an optomechanical engineer at IMAX Corporation. Along the way, Brett began volunteering with PEO's Mississauga chapter after being granted his license. It was a very active chapter, and I saw many opportunities to contribute, he says. Since joining the chapter executive in 2007, he has worked to raise the chapter's profile and build strong links with its members. Elected as chapter chair in 2016, Brett led the chapter through one of its most productive years, overseeing the redesign and launch of the chapter website, introducing new technical seminars, and leading chapter roundtable discussions on how members could contribute to PEO's strategic plan. Brett believes strongly in building community among engineers, and key to this is welcoming them to the chapter. To that end, Brett reinvented his chapter's license presentation ceremony, including a formal dinner for license recipients and their families, as well as brief introductions of each recipient as they receive their license certificate. A passionate booster of the profession among students, Brett was instrumental in the chapter's bridge building and mathletics challenges at Tompkin Road Middle School, while chair of the chapter's education committee. My goal was to make engineering something kids could understand and inspire them to learn more about, he says. For his many contributions to his chapter and the engineering profession, Brett Schmiel is being invested as a member of the Professional Engineers Ontario Order of Honor.
Brett Schmiel, I hereby invest you as a member in the Professional Engineers Ontario Order of Honor. Congratulations.
I am truly honored to receive the Order of Honor of Professional Engineers Ontario, and I sincerely appreciate this recognition. I'm very proud of the work I have done with the Mississauga chapter, in particular, the license presentation for new engineers, the many technical seminars, and roundtable discussions about the future of the engineering profession. I want to thank the awards committee and my nominators, Papur Shankar, Rishi Kumar, Karanjeet Singh, Jawaria Obaid, Ji Dong, and Hassan Akhtar. These are my colleagues at the Mississauga chapter, with whom I have worked with for as many as 15 years. I sincerely appreciate their friendship and have greatly enjoyed working with them on the many conferences and events that we have planned. I'm also proud that the Mississauga chapter is helping lead the 30 by 30 initiative by Engineers Canada to increase the representation of women within the engineering field to 30% by 2030. This is in contrast to the actual number of newly licensed engineers who are women, which was only 19% in 2017. I believe strongly in creating a sense of community among engineers, which includes our involvement with public events like our elementary school Bridge Building Challenge. These events show that we give back to the community, and it also inspires the next generation of engineers. I also believe it's important to recognize the many contributions of Canadian engineers around the world. I look forward to continuing my involvement with the Mississauga chapter and Professional Engineers Ontario. Thank you.
Our next member inductee is Wagi El-Maragi.
With his exceptionally high mathematics grades at a private French high school in Cairo, Dr. Wagi El-Maragi was qualified to enter the top faculties in the top university in Egypt, the prestigious Cairo University. As he wanted to add value and practice in a well-respected profession, he chose the Faculty of Engineering. After graduating and moving to Canada, Wagi is now a professor at the University of Windsor and a longtime PEO volunteer, serving on the Academic Requirements Committee since 1989. He currently sits as the committee's vice chair. Over his 3 decades on the committee, Wagi has been instrumental in many ARC initiatives. He helped establish breadth and depth definitions in the committee's procedure manual, which had never been defined in PEO's practices and had led to many interpretation issues. Over the years, he has also made significant contributions drafting committee policies on conflict of interest and bias, and developing and updating the guidelines for assessing and grading PEO applicants' engineering reports. All of these activities have significantly improved the PEng application process. The work of the ARC committee is extremely important to serve PEO's mandate and to judge the qualifications of foreign-trained engineers, he says. In addition, and in keeping with his commitment to education, Wagi volunteers with the Canadian Engineering Accreditation Board. Wagi is rightfully proud of his volunteer efforts on behalf of the profession. It is an advantage and privilege to continue to contribute as a volunteer to the various aspects of the profession for both Canadian graduates and foreign-trained graduates for the benefit of the Canadian society and economy, while helping the highest objective of the profession, the protection of the public, he says. To recognize his tireless commitment to the profession, PEO is pleased to invest Dr. Wagi El-Maragi as a member of the Professional Engineers Ontario Order of Honor.
Wagi El-Maragi, I hereby invest you as a member in the Professional Engineers Order of Honor. Congratulations.
I would like to express my appreciation to Professional Engineers Ontario for recognizing me for my professional volunteer service for more than 25 years and awarding me the PEO Order of Honor. It is indeed an honor to be recognized that way. I have actively and enthusiastically served the profession for many years at PEO, on the Academic Requirements Committee, and also in a broader sense to the profession by teaching. In addition, as a long-serving member of the Canadian Engineering Accreditation Board in assessing Canadian engineering program to ensure the quality of the program, of course with the ultimate objective of protection of the public. And now, as a member of the board, it has been a privilege to serve the profession and to the Canadian graduates or graduates from Canadian engineering program. With the ARC, of course, we deal mostly with non-CAB applicants to assist them in confirming their credentials that they're equivalent to CAB graduates and give them access to licensing while protecting the public interests and protecting the public. Currently, as Vice Chair of the Academic Requirements Committee and Chair of the Distance Education Subcommittee, I am involved with my colleagues in developing guidelines and criteria for evaluating the credentials that applicants acquire through distance education. This is becoming increasingly important, as has been experienced worldwide due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Last but not least, I would like to thank the colleagues that have nominated me for this prestigious honor.
Our next member inductee is John Hazel.
At an early age, John Hazel's parents instilled in him the importance of giving back, reminding him often that to whom much has been given, much is expected in return. It's a lesson he's continued to honor over the course of his engineering career, devoting his time and efforts to both PEO and the Ottawa chapter since 2010, as well as volunteer service to the Ontario Society of Professional Engineers, Engineers Canada, and Engspire. He began chapter duties working with the Education Outreach Committee, where he enjoyed connecting with students, parents, and teachers at design competition events. As chair of the committee, he is passionate about promoting STEM careers to local students, participating as a judge at the Ottawa Regional Science Fair, acting as an engineer in residence at local elementary schools, and organizing numerous National Engineering Month activities and events. In fact, it was through Education Outreach that he had his most rewarding volunteer experience. A letter of thanks from the father of a young design competition winner. The experience was transformational for the boy, giving him the confidence to improve his academic performance and interpersonal relationships with his classmates. I was amazed at how such a small volunteer activity could have such a profound effect on a young mind, John says. His chapter work later expanded to roles with the Events Committee, including the annual summer tour of the Diefenbunker, license presentation ceremonies, and chapter AGM planning. Eventually, John progressed into leadership roles including chapter chair, vice chair, and secretary, as well as chair of the chapter's awards, events, and communications committees. And as a prolific licensure assistance program guide, John regularly mentors multiple engineering interns in the program. For his valuable leadership and exceptional commitment to the profession, John Hazel is being invested as a member of the Professional Engineers Ontario Order of Honor.
John Hazel, I hereby invest you as a member of the Professional Engineers Ontario Order of Honor. Congratulations.
My name is John Hazel, and I'm honored by this recognition and humbled to be among its distinguished past and present recipients. I would like to thank my colleagues and nominators for their trust and the awards committee for their diligence. I especially want to thank my wife Colette, whose love and support is my guiding light, and my two daughters, who are ongoing sources of inspiration. I share this recognition with the many dedicated PEO volunteers across the province who go above and beyond, sharing their passion and talents to serve the profession. As engineers, we are used to big transformations like civic infrastructure and complex systems. So we sometimes forget how simple things can engender change. You may be familiar with the butterfly effect of chaos theory, essentially the theory that little things can have dramatic effects. I recall an event held at the Canadian Space and Aviation Museum several years ago, where the chapter hosted a structure building activity for museum visitors of all ages. After the event, the chapter received a thank you letter from a father whose son was awarded a prize. What was remarkable was that the son, who was having difficulties in school concentrating and staying on task, spent almost 2 hours studiously building and adjusting his structure. By fostering an environment of creativity with purpose, our volunteers help the child find new motivation and the parent find new hope. This was a perfect example of the butterfly effect and why it's important to serve, even in a small way. Little things can make a big difference. My belief is that if we walk a mile before someone, we are enabling that person to walk miles beyond us. Thank you.
Our next member inductee is David Keagle.
For David Keagle, his reasons for volunteering with PEO are simple. The regulator's most important responsibility is the protection of the public interest, he says. And volunteering is a way of helping meet its obligations and ensure that the highest standards of practice are followed in Ontario. David's been doing just that for 16 years, lending his time and talents to both PEO and the East Toronto chapter. He began service in 2004 with the Experience Requirements Committee, serving as an interviewer. Since then, he has conducted over 350 interviews, adding both professionalism and fairness to his extensive technical knowledge in his role. He has also been active on the policy side, including service on the ERC Subcommittee and Licensing Committee. He is, or has been, chair of the Improved Interviews Implementation Plan Working Group, the ERC Manual Working Group, the Interview Quality Review Group, and the ERC Dispute Resolution Board, and has participated in numerous working groups and task forces. His ERC policy work has helped improve many applicant guidelines and documents, including PEO's Guide for the Experience Requirements for Licensing, the ERC Operating Policies and Procedures Manual, the ERC Conflict of Interest Policy, and the Internal Interview Appeals Process. And as an active member of the East Toronto chapter, David also finds time to provide technical seminars and licensure-related talks at both his own and other chapters. He encourages others to get involved as PEO volunteers, noting that it's a great opportunity to meet other license holders, share common interests, and build friendships. Volunteering in your chapter will help you understand the importance of the work that PEO does, he says. To recognize his tireless commitment to the profession, PEO is pleased to invest David Keagle as a member of the Professional Engineers Ontario Order of Honor.
David Keagle, I hereby invest you as a member in the Professional Engineers Ontario Order of Honor. Congratulations.
My thanks to PEO and the Awards Committee for conferring me this honor. I am grateful to my nominators and supporters for this award: Santosh Gupta, Mohinder Grover, Leila Notash, Christian Bellini, Arthur Sinclair, Dalila Giusti, George Comrie, and Roydon Fraser. When obtaining my professional engineering license, I didn't know much about the then called Association of Professional Engineers of the Province of Ontario. That changed in the late 90s when my friend and classmate Richard First joined PEO staff and as manager of licensure, position that he maintained until his death in November of 2010. It was Richard's labor in expediting the licensure processes that brought me to the Experience Requirements Committee. He developed and implemented the idea of interviewing applicants as a step of verifying through their experience whether they met their licensure requirements. I consider this award in some way to be a recognition of Richard's labor for PEO. For me, volunteering for PEO became a passion. As time progressed, I became more involved in licensure policy matters and the way PEO operates to regulate the profession, serving and protecting the public interest. In pursuing these activities, I was chair of the Experience Requirements Committee for 3 years and subsequently chair of the Licensing Committee, position that I currently hold. Finally, I would like to recognize my family, my wife Carmen, and children Andrew and Daniela for their patience, understanding, and support at the times when I was away from home in PEO functions. Thank you.
Our next member inductee is Jim Mcconaughey.
Jim Mcconaughey started volunteering later than most, beginning service on the Experience Requirements Committee following his retirement from Ontario Hydro in 2001. But he quickly made up for lost time, and almost 20 years later has conducted hundreds of interviews assessing applicants' experience and its acceptability for licensure. As an interviewer, he is known for his ability to elicit the depth of knowledge of applicants in a patient and pragmatic manner. And his knowledge of electrical generation, transmission, and distribution systems has been very helpful in assessing applicant capabilities in related disciplines. Jim has also served on the ERC subcommittee and several task forces and working groups, including the group charged with creating the ERC Policies and Procedures Manual. While leading the ERC review process group to develop and validate PEng competencies, he championed the competency assessment method now used in ERC interviews to provide a more objective approach to assessing applicants. He counts this experience as the most rewarding of his PEO volunteer role to date. While he began volunteering to give back to the profession, he says he has taken great personal satisfaction in his volunteer role. I quickly saw this as a job that I could do well for PEO while enjoying doing it, he says. I also enjoy making new friends and the camaraderie of ERC meetings. Jim says it's important for engineers to volunteer with PEO because it creates greater awareness, understanding, and importance of self-regulation of the profession. Just do it. You won't regret it, he says. In addition to volunteering for PEO, Jim has a long history of volunteering for other professional engineering organizations, including the Institution of Electrical Engineers. It is for his valuable leadership and exceptional commitment to the profession that Jim Mcconaughey is being invested as a member of the Professional Engineers Ontario Order of Honor.
Jim Mcconaughey, I hereby invest you as a member in the Professional Engineers Ontario Order of Honor. Congratulations.
Hello everyone, I'm Jim Mcconaughey and wish to thank the Awards Committee for admitting me to the PE Order of Honor at member level. I also wish to thank my friend and nominator David Keagle for preparing and submitting the nomination along with those friends and colleagues who provided letters of support. This includes Andy Poiré, Cameron Mirza, Changiz Sadur, George Chelvanayagam, Mohinder Grover, Paul Ashion, Santosh Gupta, and the endorsement by the IET UK. Finally, I owe a big thank you to my wife Anna. She is my biggest supporter and enabler for my volunteer work with the PEO and other organizations. It has been a pleasure to serve as a member of the ERC for over 20 years. This has given me the opportunity to meet and interview over 100 applicants from Canada and many other parts of the world. With my fellow members of the ERC, we work for ways to improve the interviewing and assessment of applicants. Through my volunteer work, I try to improve public perception and trust of engineers and their value to making the world a better place. The majority of the world population is better off today than ever. Much of this is due to the creativity and inventiveness of engineers. Some of you may not recognize me with the beard. My grandson claims that it makes me look professorial. The PEO is in the midst of reimagining process to be a more efficient and effective regulator of the profession. I look forward to being involved in this change process. Best wishes to all. Stay safe and well.
Our next member inductee is Scott Schhelski.
Scott Schelski's close to 40 years as a volunteer have been almost as diverse as his engineering career in Northwestern Ontario, where he spent more than 4 decades in mining operations, engineering, and consulting, including 13 years as a senior engineer with 3 different First Nations, and 5 years with the Ministry of Northern Development and Mines as the Regional Mineral Development Consultant. On the volunteer side, Scott has split his time with both PEO's Lake of the Woods chapter and local sports programs, Cub Scouts, and theater companies. He began volunteering at the chapter in 1979, serving as chapter secretary for a sprawling chapter encompassing Red Lake, Dryden, Fort Francis, and Kenora. At that time, he says, executive roles rotated among existing volunteers, so anyone signing up as secretary committed themselves to several leadership roles, including chair, over the next 6 years. Scott's term as chair came up in 1983, and he continued serving on the executive until 1985, when he moved to Minnesota for a year. Leaving the country was the only way to get off the chapter executive, he quips. Missing life in the North, he returned to Canada after only 1 year. Scott then devoted his volunteer efforts to coaching minor hockey and baseball, leading a local Cub pack, and helping produce plays at area theater companies. But when the Lake of the Woods chapter was threatened with being absorbed into the Lakehead chapter in 2004, Scott came back to help save the local branch. Since then, Scott has served continuously on the chapter's executive, including his current role as chair. He has been a staple at various PEO conferences and congresses over several decades, including organizing 6 Northern Regional Congresses over the last 13 years. For his substantial and ongoing contributions to the profession, PEO is proud to invest Scott Schelsky as a member of the Professional Engineers Ontario Order of Honor.
Scott Schelsky, I hereby invest you as a member in the Professional Engineers Ontario Order of Honor. Congratulations.
Greetings, fellow professional engineers of Ontario. My name is Scott Schelsky, and I'm a member of the Lake of the Woods chapter. Although I became a mining engineer like my father, I became a volunteer junkie like my mother, who in 1966 was our town's Woman of the Year for her volunteer efforts. I literally grew up at the end of the road as the furthest north highway in Ontario hit the lake about a half a block from my parents' place. In Red Lake, Ontario, almost everyone volunteered for something. My first volunteer experience was coaching boys baseball on Saturday mornings and women's fastball in the evenings. Now, I must admit, as a 19-year-old, spending time in the pub for post-game cocktails with a dozen or so women wasn't exactly a hardship. In the 70s and 80s, the chapter chairmanship rotated among the 4 major communities, and the chairman handpicked his own secretary. My best friend, John Frostiak, asked me, and I agreed. Little did I know at the time it was going to be the beginning of a decades-long association with the volunteer engineers, staff, and their spouses, some of whom became good friends to this day. And to that end, I would like to thank the members of the Northern Region, Michael Flaherty, Lindsay Keats, Karen Pratt, Mark Pilon, and Councillor Serge Robert for putting my name forward, and for the awards committee for accepting my nomination. This truly is one of the highlights of a 46-year career in engineering. Finally, I want to thank my family, wife Joan, daughter Jana, and sons Derek and Grant, and my former employers for allowing me the time off to attend Northern Regional Congresses and headquarter events. There's an example of the time spent to attend an event. In 1985, as chapter chairman, I was flying off to Sudbury to attend a Northern Regional Congress. My best friend, John, was flying to Tasmania. His plane left 10 minutes before mine. He took 21 hours, and I took 23. You had to love traveling in the North. Again, I would like to thank the association for this wonderful award.
Our next member inductee is Barry Westhead.
A childhood discovery of an old electronics correspondence course in the family cottage attic helped steer a young Barry Westhead into an engineering career. He took the course himself at a volume per week, which fostered an appreciation for electronics and eventual studies in electrical engineering at the University of Toronto. While he was building his career in business, designing computer control systems for manufacturers, he also took time to give back to the profession. And for almost 25 years, Barry has served several elected roles, including secretary, chair, and vice chair for both the former Toronto Dufferin chapter and currently the West Toronto chapter. His first role came about when he was voluntold to take on the Education Committee chair after joining the Toronto Dufferin chapter. He says he was skeptical at his first training session, but when talk turned to the algorithms used to calculate positions from the GPS constellation of satellites, he knew he was among friends. Education has since become dear to Barry's heart, and his contributions to mentoring students, young engineers, and those seeking licensure is well known. Besides his first role on the Chapter Education Committee, he was also a founding member of PEO's Engineers in Residence program, which places engineers in Ontario classrooms. and served as a senior mentor with the St. Christopher House Engineering Mentorship Program for international engineering graduates. To help inspire innovation among his peers, Barry has also served as an executive member of the Engineering Innovation Forum for many years and as committee chair and MC for the main events. Barry encourages all engineers to volunteer, noting that any qualified engineer has all the skills required to be a good volunteer. For his valuable leadership and exceptional commitment to the profession, Barry Westhead is being invested as a member of the Professional Engineers Ontario Order of Honor.
Barry Westhead, I hereby invest you as a member in the Professional Engineers Ontario Order of Honor. Congratulations.
I'm very grateful and deeply honored to join the Engineering Order of Honor. My sincerest thanks and appreciation to my friends and colleagues who have made this possible. For the past 30 years, volunteering has been a gift to others that has brought me so much pride and joy. It started the day I attended my son's iron ring ceremony. I found a voice within me telling me to find a way to share my experiences with the youth represented at that ceremony. One of the great entrepreneurs of our times was asked, "When you finally look back on all of your business achievements, which will you want to be remembered for?" His reply, "Don't judge me by my business accomplishments, but rather by the happiness of my children." This great answer can be adapted for those with or without children. Success is directly proportional to the number of lives you have touched for the better. Through the engineering chapter system, the volunteering engineering community has gifted to me the chance to meet over 2,000 license recipients and their families on the eve of receipt of their license. The honor to work alongside hundreds of engineers on a variety of committees, mentoring and learning from countless young and old Canadian and new Canadian trained engineers. The privilege of attending hundreds of monthly meetings with an aggregate attendance approaching 10,000. Each one of these numbers represents an opportunity to encourage a fellow engineer. We live in times when our corporate and political leadership has never been more in need of engineering knowledge and experience. I encourage all of my fellow engineers, whether early or late in your career, please seek the immediate opportunity to share and learn with your local engineering community through volunteering. It is always the right time to get involved. I am confident that your experience will be as fulfilling as it was for me. Cheers.
We will now move on to the 2021 inductees. Our next member inductee is Annabelle Lee.
A childhood interest in robotics led Annabelle Lee to study mechatronics engineering at the University of Waterloo and ultimately embark on an engineering career specializing in IT security. On a parallel track after graduation, she also began volunteering as an EIT for PEO's York chapter, serving on the Education Committee to promote math and engineering to high school students and assisting with the chapter's mathletics competition for local schools. Since then, she has been elected to the chapter board every year since 2011, leading important projects including spearheading the EIT committee to assist young members with licensure, building the chapter's social media presence to improve member engagement, and as vice chair, assembling teams to meet the chapter's goals of EIT and women engineers engagement. In 2020, Annabelle was elected chapter chair and preparing to organize up to 50 annual events the York chapter produces for members and the community. When COVID-19 hit and canceled all in-person events, she led the chapter to continue engaging members virtually, hosting close to 30 webinars and events, including a virtual licensing ceremony and a fundraising event for the Richmond Hill Food Bank. Annabelle says it's important to have individuals from different disciplines and backgrounds to volunteer for diversity. Everyone contributes and adds to PEO by bringing different experiences, knowledge, and perspectives, which can drive innovation and creativity, she says. There are many opportunities to volunteer with PEO. There are opportunities depending on your interest and availability, and it's a great way to network with other people. To recognize her tireless commitment to the profession, PEO is pleased to invest Annabelle Lee as a member of the Professional Engineers Ontario Order of Honor.
Annabelle Lee, I hereby invest you as a member in the Professional Engineers Ontario Order of Honor. Congratulations.
11 years ago, when I was still an EIT, I participated in my first York chapter event. It was the Accelerated Mentoring event. This was the event that got me involved with PEO. As an engineer in the IT industry, there aren't that many licensed professional engineers in this field. And so I was glad to have met Gordon Yip at that event, who not only worked in IT, but also at the same company as I at that time. I want to thank Gordon for guiding me in my early career and also for encouraging me to volunteer with the York chapter. It has been a great learning journey while volunteering with the York chapter. I would like to thank the teams of executives at the York chapter and the chapter staff at PEO from when I first started volunteering until now. For the accomplishment that I am being recognized for could not be done without everyone's support and help. Special thanks to Fiona Leung, who has been a confidant over the years. I would also like to thank the York chapter education team. I'm very passionate about introducing technology and engineering to younger students, and it has been fun working with everyone, coming up with new and exciting ideas every year for the National Engineering Month Design Challenge. It is amazing to see students learn and apply science and engineering theory as they build a wind turbine, or musical instrument, or crumple zone for a model car, and then crashing that against a wall. And last but not least, I would like to thank my parents for allowing me to explore my own interests as I select engineering as a field of study and career. I'm thrilled to be receiving this Order of Honor from PEO.
Our next member inductee is Stacy Mcguire.
From her current work as a City of Windsor engineer, overseeing the setup of local COVID-19 vaccination centers, to previous assignments providing engineering expertise on local road and building projects, Stacy Mcguire says the most rewarding part of her career is seeing how engineering serves the public. And the rewards of helping others also fuels her work as a PEO volunteer, a role she has performed since first joining the Windsor-Essex Chapter Board in 2009 as an engineering intern serving on the EIT subcommittee. As subcommittee chair, Stacy quickly began organizing licensure information nights for university students and worked to include EITs in chapter life, planning interactive networking events such as volleyball tournaments, curling bonspiels, pub crawls, and golf tournaments. After earning her engineering license, Stacy branched into many other chapter roles, including serving on the Education, Scholarship, and Government Liaison Program committees, and ultimately becoming chapter chair in 2015. As the chapter's second woman chair, she earned a reputation as a strong leader through patience, active listening, unbiased tenacity, and courage. More recently, Stacy helped create the chapter's new Empowering Women in Engineering networking group that shares volunteer and mentorship opportunities with women engineers and provides a safe place where women can discuss workplace and family issues. After more than a decade of volunteer service, Stacy says her most rewarding moments have been mentoring young women on STEM careers. I take my obligation to be a mentor for young girls very seriously, she says. I have had a lot of mentors in my life, including my mother, and it's important for me to pay it forward. For her valuable leadership and exceptional commitment to the profession, Stacy Mcguire is being invested as a member of the Professional Engineers Ontario Order of Honor.
Stacy Mcguire, I hereby invest you as a member in the Professional Engineers Ontario Order of Honor. Congratulations.
I'd like to very humbly thank PEO and my nominators for considering me for this honor. I follow in the footsteps of countless individuals that I respect deeply and whose shoes I can never hope to fill. This includes part of my nomination team, Sean Mccann, Andrew Dowie, and Wanda Jurisic, each of whom I've had the distinct pleasure of sitting around the gala table with in past years as they've been acknowledged for their exemplary service to the profession. I want to take a moment to acknowledge the rest of my nominators. A special thanks to Peter Gallo, my lead nominator. You have been especially supportive throughout the years, and your positive attitude is contagious. To Rick Patterson, thank you for stepping up years ago to help me keep our annual golf day alive, and for continuing to be my right-hand man each and every year since. And I cannot forget my own personal cheerleader and closest friend, Kathy McMahon, who is an anchor on our local news radio station. Kathy never hesitates to help promote the profession in the media and when called upon. You have each served as my mentors, colleagues, and friends for many years. Thank you so much for your kind words and encouragement, and for considering me worthy of joining the ranks of the Order of Honor. I'd like to finish by saying that I do not choose to become a volunteer in order to play politics or to check a box on my resume. I volunteered my time because I'm so proud to be an engineer, and I want others to feel the same way. I want little kids to say, I want to be an engineer when I grow up. The same way you hear them say right now that they want to be a policeman, or an astronaut, or a garbage truck driver. And trust me, I have a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old, and that garbage man, he's pretty popular. So I'd encourage anyone that has considered volunteering to do so. Help us to showcase the profession as an active and diverse one. Help us to get the name engineer on as many lips as possible, because I want so badly for those tiny little people to look at me the same way they look with their fingers and nose plastered against the window pane at their garbage slinging hero at the end of their driveway. Thank you, everyone, and please stay safe.
Our final member inductee is Pat Skanga.
For longtime PEO volunteer Pascal, or Pat Skanga, volunteering is an obligation and a way to give back to the engineering profession. And it's a role he has embraced over 3 decades of volunteering, with multiple chapters and the Engineering Innovation Forum, becoming a key volunteer leader thanks to his positive attitude, exceptional guidance, and sincere passion for the engineering profession. Beginning with volunteer contributions at the former Toronto Dufferin chapter and later at the West Toronto chapter, Pat has held several executive roles, including chapter treasurer and vice chair. Since 1991, he has also been treasurer and fundraising director for the Engineering Innovation Forum Committee, which focuses on promoting engineering creativity and innovation. With his engaging personality, Pat is a sought-after mentor, and he is well known for his sincere encouragement and thoughtful advice. He has also worked with many aspiring license holders, mentoring EITs, and internationally educated engineering graduates toward earning their P-Eng license. He says, it's a relationship that works both ways. I always try to help them along their licensure journey and also try to learn something from them, he says. Pat encourages other engineers to volunteer for the profession, noting that the best volunteer attributes include character, integrity, honesty, patience, being communicative, and being respectful to everyone. Over the past 30 years, he has contributed to the growth of the engineering profession with remarkable enthusiasm and commitment, and has been a great source of inspiration for others. For his substantial and ongoing contributions to the profession, PEO is proud to invest Pascal Skanga as a member of the Professional Engineers Ontario Order of Honor.
Pat Skanga, I hereby invest you as a member in the Professional Engineers Ontario Order of Honor. Congratulations.
It's truly an honor and a very humbling experience to receive the PEO's Order of Honor Award. To be recognized and nominated by your peers is reward enough, and to be selected by the awards committee is truly beyond words. I'm a first-generation engineer, and for as long as I remember, this is what I've always wanted to do. I've always been driven to give back to our very special calling and profession, and feel that it's a duty and an obligation to do so. This journey of giving back for me began while in university and continues to this day. I'd like to thank my parents for their continued support and guidance, my best friend and wife Francesca, our 3 absolutely amazing children, for their continued support, inspiration, encouragement, motivation, and for giving me the freedom to pursue my interests. My West Toronto chapter peers and those that selflessly nominated me, namely Steve Favell, Catherine Hendrick, Amar Nawaz, Sonia Hulik, Gerard Kralik, who's also a 2018 Order of Honor recipient, and Barry Westhead, a 2020 Order of Honor recipient. Finally, the PEO's Award Committee for selecting me as one of this year's recipients. For all these things, I'm truly honored, humbled, and feel tremendously blessed. To all of you, a sincere and heartfelt thank you.
Our next 6 award recipients this evening will be invested as officers of the Order. The rank of officer is bestowed upon those who have served the engineering profession for many years and whose sustained leadership has contributed greatly to its operation or improvement in its status. In recognition of their contributions, officers receive the Order of Honor pin mounted above a blue bar. They also receive a medallion on a blue ribbon. We will begin with the 2020 inductees. Our first officer inductee is Edward Poon.
A career-long volunteer. Since being inducted as a member of the Order of Honor in 2009, Edward Poon has doubled down on his service to the profession at both the chapter and provincial levels. At the York chapter, Edward is something of an elder statesman and an encouraging mentor behind many of the chapter's younger leaders. In 2019, he developed the Past Chairs Advisory Committee, a group of past leaders committed to providing advice and guidance to current and future chapter executives. To promote the profession in York Region by showcasing innovative engineering projects, Edward helped create the chapter's Engineering Project of the Year Award in 2012. The award, which recognizes engineering projects that contribute to public well-being, has recognized more than 20 local projects to date, and it has since been duplicated by other chapters and the Ontario Professional Engineers Awards. At the provincial level, Edward has served on the Enforcement Committee, participating in many discussions on the definition of the practice of professional engineering under the Professional Engineers Act. He has also served on PEO's Consulting Engineers Designation and Experience Requirements Committees as an assessor and examiner. With 23 years of volunteer experience under his belt, Edward says his greatest rewards have been the friendships he's made getting to know many like-minded engineers. Many have become my best friends and we meet regularly. The friendships and trust between us are very valuable, he says. Edward says more engineers should get involved in volunteering, noting that all that's required is the heart to help. However, to be successful, he says, volunteers must be willing to accept responsibilities and perform their tasks with dedication and passion. Once you get to know the people and the nature of the work better, you will find where you can best use your skills, he says. It is for his valuable leadership and exceptional commitment to the profession that Edward Poon is being invested as an officer of the Professional Engineers Ontario Order of Honor.
Edward Poon, I hereby invest you as an officer in the Professional Engineers Ontario Order of Honor. Congratulations.
Honored guests, fellow engineers, ladies and gentlemen, I feel honored today to accept this award. First of all, I would like to thank Gordon Yip, former chair of the York chapter, for nominating me, and Marissa Sterling, Stephen Gogus, Louis Tai, and Shirley Chin for supporting my nomination. I started volunteering for the York chapter for over 24 years ago. As a long-time volunteer for the chapter, I recognized the need to build a coherent team of volunteers for continuous and sustainable leadership for the PEO. The chapter is a good training ground for future PEO leaders so that they can develop the right combination of skill and experience. I'm lucky through my journey of volunteering, I came to know many dedicated engineers. Some of them become my close friends today. Together, we manage to align our vision and work as a team for the betterment of our engineering profession. I'm thankful to all the chapter executives of York and other chapters that I worked with for the past 20 plus years for sharing the same belief and vision as mine. Many of the initiatives that I started when I was chapter chair are still ongoing to date. Last but definitely not the least, I would like to thank my wife Holly for her continuous encouragement and support throughout my volunteering journey. She's always my first listener, or victim you may say, to test out the viability of my new idea. On many occasions, she is able to give me good advice for improvement, and she is not even an engineer. Finally, I would like to share this award and this moment with my wife and all the chapter leaders that I have met throughout my journey of volunteering for the PEO. Thank you very much.
Our next officer inductee is Brian Ross.
Since beginning his PEO volunteer career 36 years ago as part of the joint PEO Waterloo Wellington chapter, Brian Ross has been an exemplary ambassador for the profession, providing thoughtful service to the regulators' chapters, council, and committees. Inducted as a member of the Order of Honor in 2002, Brian has since focused his efforts at the provincial level, where he has served on both the Discipline and Professional Standards Committees, as well as several PSC subcommittees. As the first Discipline Committee chair, he worked to improve internal processes, including creating metrics to measure the performance of committee members. He also helped create the first Discipline Committee Handbook, which is now the main reference tool for adjudicators during hearings. And as a committee panelist, Brian is known for his meticulous note-taking and thorough decisions and reasons. His communication skills and ability to apply engineering principles to complex discipline matters have assisted countless panels to reach a consensus on their decisions, including several which are now quoted as legal precedents. Indeed, Brian says one of his most rewarding volunteer experiences was having a decision of a discipline panel that I chaired withstand an appeal to the Ontario Superior Court of Justice. As a professional standards volunteer, Brian chaired 4 important PSC subcommittees tasked with developing new guideline materials, including professional engineers reviewing work prepared by another engineer, structural condition assessments of existing building and designated structures, use of the professional engineer's seal, and conducting a practice review. He is currently chairing a subcommittee that is revising the use of the professional engineer's seal guideline and associated regulation. Brian encourages new volunteers to take advantage of all that you can learn from service. Volunteering provides an opportunity to meet many outstanding engineers, he says. For his substantial and ongoing contributions to the profession, PEO is proud to invest Brian Ross as an officer of the Professional Engineers Ontario Order of Honor.
Brian Ross, I hereby invest you as an officer in the Professional Engineers Ontario Order of Honor. Congratulations.
I'm honored to be inducted as an officer in the Order of Honor of Professional Engineers Ontario. I thank all those who supported my induction. I thank my wife Beatrice, who coordinated our family life with my PEO meetings and events. My engineering career has been fulfilling, and I appreciate serving the profession. For over 40 years, I have enjoyed the opportunity to engage and work with enthusiastic and dedicated engineers, beginning with Grand River chapter before moving to York chapter, followed by council and committees. Participation in the Engineering Innovation Forum was particularly rewarding. It informed the public on important issues by presenting relevant, practical engineering perspectives. Our profession has significantly advanced society. The Canadian economy reflects our contribution. Professional, scientific, and technical services constitute almost 6% of Canada's GDP. Engineers are part of the team constructing a much-needed Canadian vaccine manufacturing facility. Volunteering supports many aspects of our society. About 13 million Canadians volunteer more than 2 billion hours annually. PEO depends upon over 750 volunteers serving in chapters, on council, and in committees. If you've never volunteered, extend your horizons and strengthen your resume with practical experience by volunteering your skills and knowledge. Your expertise and goodwill will be appreciated.
Our next officer inductee is Stephen Shu.
For more than 3 decades, Stephen Shu has shown a profound dedication to improving and promoting the engineering profession at both the chapter and provincial levels. Since being inducted as a member of the Order of Honor in 2003, while completing his 3rd term as chair of the Windsor-Essex chapter, he has continued volunteering for PEO and the profession. Like many chapters outside the GTA and Ottawa regions, it can be difficult to attract volunteers, he says. I think I have inspired several of my colleagues to join the board, and some of them have since become chapter chairs. Although Stephen has since retired from the chapter executive, he looks back with pride at his many accomplishments with the chapter, organizing social networking events to bring local engineers together, inviting guest speakers to showcase local engineering innovation and development success stories, and mentoring EITs on the path to licensure. Stephen was also key to the chapter's highly successful innovation station, Engineering Your Life Education Outreach event, which showcases engineering through activities such as popsicle stick bridge competitions for students and the general public. And for more than 20 years, Stephen led fundraising for the Windsor Regional Science Fair and provided judging to projects including 2 Canada-wide science fairs. At the provincial level, Stephen served on the awards committee from 2003 to 2018, where he actively engaged chapters in PEO's awards programs and helped to recognize deserving recipients throughout the province. After so many years volunteering for PEO and many other local service organizations, Stephen encourages young engineers to take part. Volunteering will allow you the opportunities to meet and work with your peers and to better understand the operations and visions of PEO and the chapters, he says. For his many years of service and dedication to both the Windsor-Essex chapter and the engineering profession, Stephen Shu is being invested as an officer of the Professional Engineers Ontario Order of Honor.
Stephen Shu, I hereby invest you as an officer in the Professional Engineers Ontario Order of Honor. Congratulations.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen, fellow engineers. As a past member of the awards committees, I have experienced many rounds of time-consuming and often difficult nomination selection process because of many qualified nominees. Therefore, I truly feel humbled and honored to receive the award today. I would like to thank members of the awards committee and my nominators, Sean Mccann and Warner Jurasek from the Windsor-Essex chapter, and my former awards committee colleague, David Robinson from the North Bay chapters. Ladies and gentlemen, your endorsements is much appreciated. Like many of you in the audience, I'm a strong supporter of volunteerism. There's an old Chinese saying that you benefit from the society, you should return a favor to the societies. Volunteers make significant contributions to the growth and diversification of the societies, organizations, and community groups. Obviously, for volunteers serving PEO, we have every intention to promote and enhance the engineering profession. Volunteers also play an important role in mentoring young engineers. I believe there are benefits for volunteering. You will enhance your social and communication skill, explore new ideas, and meet people in your community circles. I would like to take this opportunity to thank my wife, Susanna Chi, for her support of my volunteer tasks in the past 30 plus years. She has always accompanied me to our town meetings and gatherings. Her support is most appreciated. Last but not least, I would like to offer my congratulations to all award recipients, and I'd like to thank everyone for attending these meetings.
We will now induct the 2021 officers. Our next officer inductee is Royden Fraser.
Royden Fraser's route to engineering involved an open mind and a Queen's University admissions calendar featuring a program including all his favorite subjects, physics, chemistry, and math, and no English requirement. It turned out to be engineering, a profession he knew nothing about before heading off to Kingston to study it. Since then, Royden has fully embraced engineering as both a mechanical engineering professor at the University of Waterloo and a longtime PEO volunteer at the chapter and provincial levels. His first volunteer role was assisting at a 1993 Past a Bridge competition with the Kitchener-Waterloo chapter, which he later followed up with service on the chapter executive, ultimately serving as chair in 1996. Provincially, Royden was elected to PEO Council as a regional councillor and then councillor at large during the 9 times he ran for council since 1998, retiring from council in 2019. He has also served on PEO's Academic Requirements Committee since 1998, including 2 stints as chair. Royden drafted the committee's first manual, the Red Book, a valuable guide to assess the academic qualifications of international engineering graduates. Royden has also served on a wide range of PEO committees and task forces, including licensing, discipline, legislation, PEO National Framework, Code of Ethics, and licensed specialties. His advice to would-be PEO volunteers is simply follow your interests. Royden offers fresh perspectives and is known for pointing out the devil in the details. Most importantly, his views are based on a firm understanding of the principles of professional self-regulation. It is for his leadership and commitment to the profession that Royden Fraser is being invested as an officer of the Professional Engineers Ontario Order of Honour.
Royden Fraser, I hereby invest you as an officer in the Professional Engineers Ontario Order of Honour. Congratulations.
I do not accept this award for myself. I do not need or seek awards for what I do. I accept this award for the esteem and respect I have for my nominators and all the wonderful colleagues I've had the pleasure to meet and to get to know through PEO and the engineering profession. Lastly, I wish to thank my family for their love and support. Thank you.
Our next officer inductee is Sean Mccann.
Since being inducted as a member of the PEO's Order of Honor in 2006, while serving as Windsor-Essex Chapter Chair for a 3rd term, Sean Mccann has continued volunteering for PEO and the profession, serving on the Chapter Executive and taking positions on PEO's Continuing Professional Development Competency and Quality Assurance Task Force and the Advisory Committee on Volunteers. As an ongoing Chapter Executive, Sean has served the last 10 years as Treasurer, preparing annual business plans and financial statements. He also remains active with EIT activities and is a regular speaker at University of Windsor Engineering School events. He also assists with the chapter's largest annual event, Innovation Station – Engineering Your Life, which sees local engineers discussing STEM careers with area students. Indeed, it's his work with young people with an interest in engineering and technology that he finds most gratifying as a PEO volunteer. I'm always left with a high feeling when I meet young individuals and chat about their future goals, and I can help them see their future based on my own experiences, he says. As a PEO volunteer, Sean has served on the Advisory Committee on Volunteers since 2015, including 3 years as chair. Known as a major contributor on the committee, he chaired the annual Committee Chairs Workshop and the group's Succession Planning Subcommittee. In 2016, Sean was elected as the Windsor-Essex Engineer of the Year, presented to an engineer who has made significant contributions to the profession. For his substantial and ongoing contributions to the profession, PEO is proud to invest Sean Mccann as an officer of the Professional Engineers Ontario Order of Honour.
Sean Mccann, I hereby invest you as an officer in the Professional Engineers Ontario Order of Honour. Congratulations.
To our Honourable President, councillors, members of the Order of Honour, the Awards Committee, PEO staff, fellow PEO members, my betters and my equals, and various family members and friends, I'm humbled and honoured to stand here before you during this exciting event. There are several people I'd like to thank. To the committee that forwarded my nomination to the Awards Committee. This includes Wanda Jurisic, Stephen Chu, and Michael Chan. Thank you. These are some of my greatest and most dedicated friends and mentors who have provided significant guidance to me over many years. To Victoria Alexandrova, thank you for always helping to keep the Advisory Committee on Volunteers staying on the right path. as well to my fellow 9 members on the ACV. Thank you for your continued dedication to the important volunteer work we do as ACV members. Thanks also to the PEO staff managing chapters and making me look good as a volunteer. They include Adilton Ribeiro, Sharon Gillum, and Julie Hamilton. To the Windsor-Essex chapter board, where many members have come and gone during my term as an officer on the board. I have enjoyed volunteering with each person since they have helped make our chapter great and strong. To our late friend and mentor, Matthew Enge, who passed away about 1.5 years ago. I cannot believe it's already been that long. We all miss you. Thank you to my parents, Roy and Violet Mccann, for teaching me right from wrong and good Christian values. To my brother Kit for his support and guidance to our family. To my many in-laws who have been such a huge support for my family. I'd also especially like to thank my wife Maria and her 4 kids, Patrick, Avery, Tia, and Leanna. They have paid the greatest price of all for taking care of things at home while I've been away for both work and volunteer activities. Thank you for your patience and understanding by allowing me to pursue my volunteer efforts for promoting engineering in our community. Once again, this is a great honor, and I thank you for thinking so highly of me.
Our final officer inductee is Helen Wojcinski.
Longtime PEO volunteer and gender equity advocate Helen Wojcinski first became involved in volunteering on December 6, 1989, when, as a young engineer, she participated in a Women in Engineering conference and expressed her opinions on what PEO could do to attract more women to the profession. That same day, 14 women, mostly engineering students at L'École Polytechnique, were murdered during the Montreal Massacre. It was a hate crime that cemented her decision to join PEO's new Women in Engineering Advisory Committee 1 year later. She became committee chair in 1994, and under her leadership, the committee spearheaded gender equity initiatives, including the 1994 National Survey of Workplace Conditions for Engineers, that identified challenges facing women engineers and influenced changes to the Professional Engineers Act to include sexual harassment as part of its definition of professional misconduct. Since then, she has continued advocating for women in the profession. Today, Helen chairs PEO's 30 by 30 task force, an Engineers Canada initiative to raise the percentage of newly licensed engineers who are women to 30% by 2030. To move this agenda forward in Ontario, Helen mobilized a team to develop an action plan and briefing note to PEO Council to endorse the initiative, which they did unanimously in 2017. More recently, the task force has engaged stakeholders in facilitating women's pursuit of engineering licensure. She says her most rewarding volunteer experiences have been working alongside people who care as much as she does about the profession. To recognize her tireless commitment to the profession and women in engineering, PEO is pleased to invest Helen Wojcinski as an officer of the Professional Engineers Ontario Order of Honor.
Helen Wojcinski, I hereby invest you as an officer in the Professional Engineers Ontario Order of Honor. Congratulations.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am truly honored to be inducted into the Order of Honor. What makes this recognition even more special is that it is peer-driven. Many of you have already heard my personal story, but I think it's worth repeating. When I got my engineering license in 1989, only 2% of professional engineers in Ontario were women. In 2018, almost 30 years later, that number was a mere 18%. Should we reach Engineers Canada's goal to raise the percentage of newly licensed engineers who are women to 30% by 2030, I will be almost 70. The needle has not moved significantly in the last 5 years, and at our current pace, we will reach only 25% by 2030. The numbers tell the story, so clearly we have to do things differently, like taking action with the 30 by 30. But I've not been alone in striving for gender equity in the engineering profession. I would like to start first by thanking my fellow members of PEO's 30 by 30 task force for their commitment to this very important initiative. As you can see from my vignette, I have many women engineering leaders in my life who are my dear friends. They inspire me to do more aim higher, never give up, and be better every day. I am truly blessed to have them in my life. I would also like to thank those who were instrumental in my successful nomination, including my alma mater, the University of Toronto. And I would like to say a special thank you to my husband, who has supported me for over 40 years. He has given his time to me so that I can give my time to others. There's only one thing that would top tonight's honor, and that would be if I could pop the cork of a champagne bottle before 2030 and I turned 70. That would be the perfect ending to this story. I am confident that this time, with the 30 by 30, we can really make this happen. I would like to thank you very much for this very special honor tonight.
Our final two award recipients this evening will be invested as companions of the Order. The rank of companion is bestowed upon those who have served the engineering profession for many years and whose distinguished service has profoundly influenced its operation or improved its status. In recognition of their contributions, companions receive the Order of Honor pin above a blue and silver bar. They also receive a medallion on a blue and silver ribbon. Our 2020 companion inductee is Paul Ballantyne.
For veteran PEO volunteer Paul Ballantyne, the necessary skills for volunteer success are simple. Show up, do what you said you would do, help where you can, don't complain or criticize, smile, and come back again, he says. It's a recipe that served him well since he began volunteering in 1985, starting with attendance at an Algonquin chapter AGM. The program was well organized, and I was impressed enough to volunteer to fill the vacant secretary position, and there it started, he says. Since then, Paul has provided both service and leadership to the profession at all levels of PEO, chapter, council, committees, and task forces, earning induction as a member of the Order of Honor in 2003. Serving as Algonquin chapter chair for 4 years, Paul demonstrated a keen desire to ensure a well-run chapter that fulfilled its mandate. He was active in education outreach, including starting the chapter's Popsicle Stick Bridge Busting Program and the Government Liaison Program, helping the chapter earn the Small Chapter GLP Award. At the provincial level, Paul was elected to PEO Council for 2 terms as Eastern Region Councillor. During his 2 years chairing the Regional Councillors Committee, he led an initiative to refocus the chapter's essential purposes to support the implementation of a more business-oriented approach to chapter budgeting and reporting. He also has a long history of PEO committee and task force service, including time on the communication, awards, discipline, central election and search, registration, and chair of the succession planning task force. As chair of the Advisory Committee on Volunteers, he helped develop the Committee and Task Force Policy Reference Guide. And as a member of the Council Term Limits Task Force, he helped implement term limits for Council. Currently chair of the Succession Planning Task Force, Paul hopes to provide some evolution to the way PEO Council is populated. Paul encourages more people to give back to their profession. Volunteering always gives back multiples, and younger people can acquire many great skills that they can apply at work and elsewhere, which will help progress their career, he says. For his many years of service and his dedication to PEO and the profession, Paul Ballantyne is being inducted as a companion to the Professional Engineers Ontario Order of Honor.
Paul Ballantyne, I hereby invest you as a companion in the Professional Engineers Ontario Order of Honor. Congratulations.
Thank you for this award and the recognition that comes with it. I want to thank my home chapter, Algonquin chapter, for initiating my upgrade to companion level. Who would have known that volunteering to be the Algonquin chapter secretary in 1985 would lead to this? My chapter provided a good grounding with many great team players over those 35 years and counting. We had good programs and innovative ideas for events. Bridge busting, science fair, outreach for new grads, technical tours and seminars, seminars for licensing, and how to stay out of the blue pages. We celebrated the 100th anniversary of Canadian military engineers and our local engineering employers. PEO staffer Tom Chessel got me started on central committees, including a 10-year tour on ACV, the Advisory Committee on Volunteers, with him as staff support. During that time, I got elected as Eastern Councillor. The synergies of being councillor, chair of the Regional Councillors Committee, working with my friend Matthew Ing, and chair of ACV provided opportunities for progress and achievement. I'd like to acknowledge the team members that made the 35 years possible. The long list of volunteers and staffers that were great to work with on these committees, council, and task force. Many of these have become long-time friends. Lastly, I would like to thank the home team. My wife Alice of 48 years this month, and 3 kids, Sarah, Neil, and Joanne. All of them looking very disappointed that they couldn't attend any of my meetings, particularly the gala. So thank you again.
Our 2021 companion inductee is Bob Dhoni.
It was an invitation by PEO past president Dr. Walter Belansky to join the regulator's Engineering Disciplines Task Force that started Bob Dhoni's volunteer career. The task force was examining software engineering within the profession, said Bob, and it was an honor to work with some of the leading professionals in the field. 23 years later, including 8 on PEO Council and a term as president, Bob has provided exceptional leadership to the profession. As president in 2018, Bob oversaw several important achievements, including amending the Professional Engineers Act, providing PEO authority to establish a continuing professional development program, and endorsing Engineers Canada's 30 by 30 initiative, which aims to raise the percentage of newly licensed women engineers in Canada to 30% by the year 2030. An engineering professor at the University of Guelph, Bob has also served on PEO's Academic Requirements Committee, including a stint as chair. He is known for his deep understanding of the regulator's academic admissions processes, especially around emerging disciplines. In addition, Bob has served on a wide range of PEO committees and task forces, including the licensing, discipline, legislation, human resources, finance committees, and the evolution of engineering admissions and 30 by 30 task forces. As for what he'd still like to accomplish, Bob is looking back to his first role on the Engineering Disciplines Task Force. We are facing a 4th industrial revolution with all its disruptive technology. I want to explore the foundations of educational requirements for licensure so that we can adapt to both the challenges and opportunities of this disruption, he says. Bob is known as a kind, compassionate, and caring person with an ability to provide unbiased focus in any situation. For his many years of service and dedication to PEO and the profession, Bob Dhoni is being inducted as a companion of the Professional Engineers Ontario Order of Honor.
Bob Dhoni, I hereby invest you as a companion in the Professional Engineers Ontario Order of Honor. Congratulations.
First of all, I would like to thank my nominators and the awards committee for conferring me this honor. Looking around at the current and past award winners, I am truly humbled to be counted in their company. I congratulate all my fellow award winners. It has been an honor and a privilege to have served the people of this great province of Ontario by contributing to the regulation of the engineering profession. It is on their behalf that I have been so proud to have given my time over these decades. I was just a newly appointed professor when PEO president Dr. Walter Belansky approached me about this software engineering task group that could do with some younger perspectives. Well, one thing leads to another and to another until you never know where this journey will take you. For me, it was the Academic Requirements Committee, then PEO Council, then PEO President, and now as Chair of the Canadian Engineering Accreditation Board. Along the way, I have had the privilege of working with such incredible people and have forged lifelong friendships. To my colleagues on the ARC, who show up to PEO every month, virtually of course nowadays, to individually assess the academic requirements for licensure of internationally educated applicants, It is your dedication that makes the principle of self-governing regulation such a powerful model. I salute you. Of course, to my wife, Lisa, thank you for putting up with evening meetings, weekends away, in support of all this work. You are my rock. Finally, to my children, Lynn, John, and Greg, all engineering graduates. Who'd have figured? You are the future of this great profession. I dedicate this award to you. You are my inspiration. Thank you.
Thank you. This marks the end of the 2020-2021 Order of Honor induction ceremony. Thanks to everyone here for helping to celebrate these deserving recipients.
Thank you, Ken and Nancy, for emceeing and presenting the Order of Honor induction ceremony. And my sincere congratulations to all of tonight's inductees. There were many people who contributed to tonight's awards ceremony that I would like to now acknowledge and thank. Thank you to the PEO Awards Committee members who searched for candidates, evaluated the nomination packages received, and made recommendations to PEO Council. Thank you, PEO staff, who worked on the administration, publicity, vignettes, citations, and program for this evening's presentation and seamlessly pivoted to a virtual ceremony. And thank you to all of those who submitted and contributed to a nomination. We acknowledge the perseverance and dedication it takes to prepare a nomination package, collect the information, and organize the submission. Receiving well-prepared nominations across a broad diversity of candidates is critical to PEO's award program success. Congratulations once again to the Smith, Wolf, Sterling, and President Award winners, as well as to all those inducted into PEO's Order of Honor this evening. Your exceptional service and contributions to PEO and the engineering profession is appreciated. And to you, the audience, thank you all for sharing this evening with us. We hope you learned a little bit more about PEO, the engineering profession, its leaders and supporters. Good night, bonne soirée, miigwech.